So we have seen that when these beings, these sinister beings, lay this claim on man's heart, and they start to afflict him, it seems to me very much like, I shouldn't say it, but serial killers.
Mm.
That being gets into them and only wait a certain amount of time and they have to do it again. See, science and philosophy, psychology doesn't even touch this, but this is what's happening. Everything they have touched or seen, they make their own. Look at that. He says that.
Yeah.
In nature's basement lodge, they fill the passages of mind. They disrupt thoughts, links, and even the musing sequences. They break through the soul's stillness with noise and cry. Or they call the inhabitants of the abyss, invite the instincts to forbidden joys, a laughter wake of dread demoniac work, and with nether riot and revel, shake life's floor. Oh, these are asuras, truly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we start with
Impotent to quell his terrible prisoners.
yes. So man here doesn't have the power to quell means to suppress, to overcome,
Okay.
overcome or suppress. And we know what impotent is. It means powerless, powerless.
Yeah.
So he's powerless to suppress these terrible prisoners.
Yeah.
And now the householder, which is the soul, helpless, sits above. And why is that? Because his house is taken from him. His house is the body, the man's body or woman's body. And it's taken from him, and it is no more. So read on now. Impotent to quell.
Yeah, I concentrate and then start reading.
Are you recording?
Yes.
Okay, good, good.
Impotent to quell his terrible prisoners, appalled
No,
the
appalled,
appalled,
appalled.
appalled the householder helpless sits above, taken from him his house is his no more. He is bound and forced.
What does appalled mean? If you're appalled by something, it's
Like
something
you're
dreadful.
sorry?
You're filled with something dreadful here.
Okay.
Filled or overcome with horror or fear. We could say it was an appalling movie.
Yeah.
And it frightened me.
Mm.
Something appalling just fills one with fear. Okay, so carry on.
He is bound and forced, a victim of the play, or allured, joys in the mad and mighty din. His nature's dangerous forces have arisen, and hold at will a rebel's holiday.
Now, this is again complicated, but very, very important. So we'll take it slowly. So his house, which is his dwelling place, his body, is not his anymore. He is bound and forced. When someone is bound, they are tied up very tightly, very tightly bound. And he's a victim of the play. Or, and here's where the secret comes in, or allured, that means attracted by. enticed,
Yeah.
tempted, or allured, he joys in the mad and mighty din.
Hmm.
I think that this is what I've been talking about, these evil men who go out and kill or rape or things like that,
Yeah.
or child molesters. All of these, you can't even put a psychological label on them because it's something that's beyond psychology. It's so deep,
Hmm.
so deep. Now, I'd like you to read these two lines from Savitri, or three lines, and then Sri Aurobindo is going to talk about them. It's not exactly allured, but it's very, very important that we understand how significant these words are and why I'm going through them with you at such a slow pace. So
Hmm.
can you read that? Um, it's under allured.
His nature's dangerous forces have arisen and hold at will a rebel's holiday.
Yeah, this is the definition under allured.
Okay. What do
You,
you want me to read?
the definition under allured.
Ah, okay. From the lexicon, you mean?
Yes, yes.
Okay, okay.
It's very, very important, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not so complicated.
Allured, attracted as to a lure, drawn or enticed to a place or to a course of action, attracted or tempted by something flattering or desirable, fascinated, charmed.
And this is the dictionary definition.
Dictionary, yeah.
Now
And
Sri Aurobindo
Canto,
will speak about these three lines.
referring to the following lines,
Refer.
refer, referring to the following lines, aware of his occult omnipotent source, allured by the omniscient ecstasy, he felt the invasion and the nameless joy. I certainly won't have attracted in place of allured. There is an enormous difference between the force of two words, and merely attracted by the ecstasy would take away all my ecstasy in the line. Nothing so tepid can be admitted. Neither do I want thrill in the place of joy, which gives a false color. Precisely, it would mean that the ecstasy was already touching him with its intensity, which is far from my intention. Your statement that joy is just another word for ecstasy is surprising. Comfort, pleasure, joy, bliss, rapture, ecstasy would then be all equal and exactly synonymous terms, and all distinction of shades and colors of words would disappear from literature. As well, say that flashlight is just another word for lightning, or that glow, gleam, glitter, sheen, blaze are all equivalents which can be employed indifferently in the same place. One can feel allured to the supreme omniscient ecstasy and feel a nameless joy touching one without that joy becoming itself the supreme ecstasy. I see no loss of expressiveness by the joy coming in as a vague, nameless hint of the immeasurable superior ecstasy. He says so in Letters of Savitri.
Wonderful, isn't it?
Yeah,
And you begin to understand, or we begin to understand, how carefully each word has come
yeah, yeah,
to be in Savitri.
yeah.
And the have
Hmm.
been placed there with great sensitivity.
Yeah,
And we should not take these things lightly. We should, I can say, savor with our deepest heart the beauty of every word he's put in Savitri.
Mm-hmm.
So now we have his nature's dangerous forces have arisen. This is when man is tempted by the Asura and hold at will a rebel's holiday. A rebel is someone who is defiant, who's rebellious. You know that word, who resists or defies authority.
Yeah.
Now, these beings are coming up now, and will.
Aroused from the darkness where they crouched in the depths.
No, crouched.
Crouched.
When we crouch, we bend down like.
Yeah.
And when a lion crouches, waiting, or a tiger crouches, it gets down on all fours.
Yeah.
That's called crouching.
Okay.
Good.
Aroused from the darkness where they crouched in the depths, prisoned from the sight, they can be held no more. His nature's impulses are now his lords. Once quelled or wearing specious names and vests, infernal elements, demon powers are there.
And this is what we've been talking about. These demon powers, these Asuric forms, once we accept them in us, they are awakened or aroused from the darkness. That's where they That's where they crouch. They crouch in the darkness. They're waiting to leap into someone who has an opening. Now, prisoned from the sight. Prisoned here is used as a verb. So we can't see them, but now they can be held no more. And his nature's impulses, this is man's nature's impulses, are now his lords. Once when they were quelled, and quelled we had already, did we not do quelled?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, quell is to put down forcibly.
Yeah, we did a little earlier, yeah.
Yeah, see, so Sri Aurobindo uses the same word twice
because
it's extremely important. So once they have been put down, or wearing specious names. Specious means something that has the ring of truth, but is actually false.
Okay.
Once quelled, or wearing specious names and vests, infernal elements, demon powers are there. And now he will continue. He's not finished telling us about these yet.
Man's lower nature hides these awful guests. Their vast contagion grips sometimes man's world. An awful insurgence overpowers man's soul.
Whoa. Okay, so we have that mother statement that in all of us, there is a lower nature that hides some of these darker forces. And they're often the real challenge for us to clear out.
Yeah.
Real challenge. So we're going to go now and see what else.
What he's really saying is just like how he says, I mean, in many of his writings, he always says about the call that arises from within to answer to the divine. Just like that, there is also a lower nature that tries to conquer us, and it is up to us to choose the right one.
Absolutely correct. Absolutely right. But he says that man's lower nature hides these awful here means terrible. You
Yeah.
know, awful is sometimes filled with awe, but
Yeah.
here it's terrible, guess.
Terrible. Yeah.
They are vast contagions. Now, what is a contagion? It's just a corrupting influence.
Okay.
We have this contagion right now of
Yes.
COVID-19,
Yes.
and it is a corrupting influence. It's a harmful influence.
Hmm.
And then he says after that,
In
he's
house and house.
no, we have to get to insurgents. And
Yeah.
awful insurgents. Look, he uses awful twice in 3 lines.
Yeah.
So we see how, you see, an ordinary poet might do this, but Sri Aurobindo has done this very consciously.
Yeah.
He's put awful guests and now awful insurgents.
Surgeons.
An insurgent is someone who is in revolt,
Okay.
rebellious.
Hmm. And also here, like he doesn't do this often, but here each of the sentence is ended with a period. So
Yeah.
it's 4 different sentences.
4 sentences in a row.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Good of you to see that, actually. Very good. Okay, he's not finished yet.
In house, the huge uprising grows. Hell's companies are loosed to do their work. Into the earthways they break out from all doors. Invade with bloodlust and the will to slay, and fill with horror and carnage God's fair world.
It's so sad to have to read these things.
Yeah.
So in house and house is being and being, right?
Yeah.
The body is our house. Hell's company are loosed, are freed to do their work. And the uprising grows. And into the earthways, they break out from everywhere, from all doors. They invade with bloodlust and the will to slay,
Mm.
and fill with horror and carnage. Carnage is massacre, massive slaughter.
Okay.
And we have to go on.
Death and his hunters stalk a victim earth. The terrible angel smites at every door. An awful laughter.
Yeah, I have to stop here because I have to go to the next page, but I have some things to share with you.
Yeah.
I couldn't find anything in Sri Aurobindo's writings about the terrible angel. So
Okay.
I asked Alok and Nolini.
Okay.
And Alok says death is the terrible angel. He has
Yeah.
this terrible form that destroys all earthborn things, laying his blame on every soul that assumes a body. Yet, though his form is terrible, he too serves a part in the grand and complex play, arousing consciousness in things inert, and by a brutal shock of pain, wake up all life to the effort at ascension and escape from ignorance and pain. Now that's quite long, but here's what Nolini says in a few words. The terrible angel is the Antichrist, the fallen angel, the Asura. Wow. For me, that even makes more sense. So we have to go now to 482.
Yeah.
If I can get there, let's see now. My computer is in a mess. Okay, I got there. Let's see now. 482. I'll be happy when we're finished with this. Okay, I messed up here. 482. Here we are. Okay.
An awful laughter,
Yes. Mocks. Okay.
an awful laughter mocks at the world's pain, and massacre and torture grin at heaven. All is the prey of the destroying force. Creation rocks and tremble, top and base. This evil nature, housed in human hearts, a foreign inhabitant, a dangerous guest, the soul that harbors it can dislodge, expel the householder, possess the house.
And very similar to all that he has written previously.
Yes,
But
yes.
but
And
he
he used
yeah,
awful again.
yes, this awful laughter that inspires fear and dread
Yeah,
and
yeah,
mocks at the world's pain and
yeah.
massacre and torture, grin even. So he's got grinning and mocking and all of these
King.
aspects of this Asuric force and all
Mm,
prey of the destroying force. Creation even rocks, and the top of the
mm,
piece even tremble. And then what Mother told us, this evil nature housed in human hearts, it's a foreign inhabitant, it's not part of us, it's a dangerous
yeah,
beast. But
yeah.
if we harbor it, it can dislodge our soul.
Mm,
That's how powerful it is. Not only that, but it can expel. To expel someone is to throw them out. Expel the house,
yeah,
possess the house. And this is when people are truly possessed, that they
yeah,
are possessed by these beings.
yeah.
Yeah. A little bit more and we'll break.
Yeah. An opposite potency contradicting God, a momentary evil's almightiness, has straddled the straight path of nature's acts. It imitates the Godhead it denies, puts on his finger and assumes his face,
Puts on his figure.
puts on his figure and assumes his face. Should I stop there?
No, I want to go 4 more lines.
Yeah. A Manichean, how do I say that?
Manichaean.
Manichean.
Manichaean.
A Manichean creator and destroyer. This can abolish man, null his world. But there is a guardian power. There are hands that save, calm eyes, divine regard the human scene.
Calm eyes divine regard the human scene.
Okay, calm eyes,
Divine.
divine guard the human scene.
Yes, you got it. Now notice that there's a break here.
Yeah,
A little break. It's a little indent break, or is it a
yeah.
big break? I don't have the copy of Savitri with me. But it is
There is a break, yeah. It's
yeah,
not
it's
a very long break, but he
but
has
it's
like the
very
usual breaks that he has between chapters.
yes, and it's a very intentional break because
Yes.
it's leading us into another experience, beautiful experience. So
Mm,
now we have here that an opposite potency. A potency is a potentiality, a strength, an efficacy that
yeah.
contradicts God,
Mm,
but it's still only a momentary evil's almightiness.
yeah.
He has straddled the straight path of nature's act. When we straddle something, we stand on either side of something,
Mm,
right? We
yeah.
can we can straddle a curb. We can straddle a
Yeah.
path by putting our feet on both sides of the path. So
Yeah.
as this evil's almightiness has straddled the path of nature's acts, and it even imitates the Godhead it denies, puts on his figure and assumes his face. I believe I told you about Nolini going to the Samadhi at night.
Yeah, you told me.
Yeah, that's exactly what
Yeah.
he's saying here. Puts on his figure and assumes his face. And the last thing now is this Manichaean creator. Manichaean is a kind of gospel, it's a religious system. And it combines Gnostic Christianity, Buddhism, Zoroastrianism, and other elements. And basically, it's a doctrine of the conflict between light and dark. And they considered matter as dark and evil, the Manichaeans. So he tells us this Manichaean creator and destroyer can abolish man and annul his world. And then he begins to lead us into this break. But there is a guardian power. There are hands that save, and calm eyes divine regard the human scene. So I'm happy we can end on that very happy line.
Yes.
Okay. So namaste.
Namaste, Narad. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
I see you on Thursday, 7:15.
yes, very good.
Yeah.
7:15. Yes, I got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bye.
Okay, bye.